This is Aussie Mac Zone. We'll cover everything Apple, including Macs, iPhones, iPads, and more. All this from an Aussie perspective. Sit back, relax, insert yourself into the zone. The Aussie Mac Zone.
So as I was loading this to check it out on Facebook, make sure that we're okay, it said science says that Freddie Mercury is science says that Freddie Mercury is the best singer of all time. And so what I could say to that is that you can't argue with science. Anyway, we're live and I'm just about to share it.
Hello. Well, he's sharing away.
Yes.
Facebook is live.
It is.
We are live. Hello everybody, welcome to show 322 Aussie Mac Zone. It's another warm and delightful muggy day here, and we're doing this a little bit earlier because Zarn was sick yesterday, the poor little puppy dog. How are you?
I'm not great today, but I'm here. Seem to have catch a bug off the kids, I think, and well, I think the whole family's got it, and now Michael. But no, other than that, I'm fine. So
good.
I can't complain. No one listens.
That's right. We're not here to listen.
No.
We're here to talk.
That's right. We're here to tell you about what's going on in the Mac world this week.
IT Helps You and Aussie Tech Radio are helping us do that. So our Aussie Apple ramblings this week. Firstly, congrats to Mac Break Weekly. Another podcast, been around for a long, long time.
Hi, Kellyanne. Thanks for watching.
700 episodes. 700. So we've got sort of catching up to do.
We do. I noticed we're at 322.
Yes.
3 more will be at 325, and then we're almost at 350.
Yes, it doesn't take long.
Oh, no, it doesn't.
They just keep knocking over. That's the important bit.
It is.
Now, this story, those Apple keyboards, horrendous. Screenwriting Oscar winner slams MacBook keyboards.
Oh, wow.
So, Cinema 5D tells us director Taika Waititi won his first Oscar for the best adapted screenplay for his movie Jojo Rabbit.
I haven't seen it yet, but I've heard good things about this movie, and I'm dying to see it. It looks hilarious.
He used the opportunity to complain to journalists about how Apple messed up the keyboard with its recent MacBooks. Apple's butterfly keyboard design used in MacBooks since 2015 has not been overly popular among Apple's customers. Pardon me. And now the company seems to finally understand that as the new 16-inch 2020 MacBook, well, it's a 2019 MacBook anyway, does not have this type of keyboard anymore. Taika Waititi, also known as Takar Cohen, comes from the east coast of New Zealand. He's been involved in the film industry for several years, initially as an actor, and now focusing on writing and directing. Takar became a blockbuster director with his film Thor Ragnarok,
which he also starred in as one of the funny monsters that escapes with Thor in the movie with the Hulk and everything like that. He did it with the Kiwi accent. Great. He's also done some stuff with Jermaine from the Flight of the Conchords with In the Shadows, I think it's called, where the vampires and the Kiwis and they're going out. And very good. He's very, very funny. I can see why they used him for, was it what's his Star Wars? I can see why George Lucas has used him. I can see why Marvel has used him. So him criticising Apple is a big thing because he's one of the men of the moment. So yeah.
And he's obviously done a lot of writing.
He definitely
knows the feeling of the keyboard.
Yeah.
And it's amazing. Like you get up in front of all these journalists and just say, "What about your Oscar? What about?" And the first thing he says is, "The Apple keyboards are crap."
Yeah.
Maybe he obviously wants them to pay attention.
Yeah, I think so.
Now, when asked what he thought writers should be demanding in the next round of discussions with producers, he said, Apple needs to fix those keyboards.
Well, at least we know he's using Apple products, which is fantastic. And if he needs a better keyboard, then Apple should do it.
Now, another story. Router lifetime on the box in the UK. So, routers sold in the UK will have to have their support lifespan include writing on the box.
Thanks for watching.
I think this was talked about on a Relay FM podcast during last week. I listened to a couple of theirs. I would like to see that on every tech product. Apple's current standing on this is basically they will support a product for 7 years, but not sure where it's actually written down. So yeah, if you know that your router that you get from Optus or whatever is going to be supported by the manufacturer, not by Optus, for however long, then you got that's great. And that way you can, when you're out buying a router, you can say, well, they're only going to support it for 5 years. They're going to support it for 10. I'm going to buy this one.
Exactly right.
So,
or if you're, with one of the companies that I've dealt with, their routers probably last about, 4 months, and then they send you a new one.
So
cheaply made.
Cheaply made, yeah. So I'd like to see that on every product in Australia. That'd be awesome.
Yep.
So, now, Apple's free Learn to Code Swift Playground Sandbox arrives on Mac. So
awesome.
It is. It's really good software.
Yeah.
The Verge reports nearly 4 years after it launched as an iPad exclusive in 2016, Apple's Swift Playgrounds app is now available for Mac as part of Apple's Catalyst app initiative, designed to help bridge the software gap between Mac OS and iOS. The free app, cleverly disguised as a video game, teaches kids and adults how to use Apple's Swift programming language, and maybe build apps of their own. Now that it's on a Mac, it might be easier for kids to publish those Swift apps too. Yeah. They can now use those skills on the same laptop they need for the company's Xcode software.
Yep.
Xcode isn't available on the tablets as yet. Anyway.
As yet, yeah.
Now, Apple's product page also says your code will seamlessly move from iPad to Mac as you write it, and the new app comes with a few Mac exclusive features, like the option to drag and drop snippets of common code directly into your lesson with your mouse or trackpad.
Excellent.
According to 9to5 Mac, it also has support for the MacBook Pro's touch bar, but they won't say how it might help. Now, while I was researching this, I found out that Parrot drones and the Sphero Spark Plus and the Lego Mindstorms can also be controlled by programs that you're writing in Swift.
Awesome.
So, yeah, you can write...
does this mean you could literally write a whole sequence and then...
get the drone to fly it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yeah. So, where I can see this sort of thing as an example, one of the guys I listened to who is actually a proper film guy, so he probably already had a program for this, but his parents run a golf club.
Yep.
And so he wanted to take drone footage of the golf course.
Yep.
So you could lay it out and say, all right, I want it to go from there to there, and we know that's 110 yards,
yep.
and we know that's 450 yards for hole 2, and hole 3 is 350, and you could say, all right, I want it to go from there to there, across to there, up there.
Fantastic.
So, yeah, and, all the things you could do with that.
Yeah, well, that's
mind-blowing. That's
what I thought
and
too.
For going out and learning.
It also would be cool to play with, like, for... delivering things, even just for fun.
Yeah.
Like you could send your mate, wrap up a bag of lollies or whatever with your mate, program it in and fly it over, bring it down, it'll drop it,
fly it across the road.
Yeah.
I had a mate lived across the road, a mate lived behind me.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could fly it from your place to his place.
Yeah, just doing silly stuff even, playing pranks on each other. So that's really cool. Yeah,
you can have heaps of fun.
Yeah.
That's excellent. Now, Aussie Tech Radio.
Yep.
Now, don't forget, on that radio at the moment, ETFM, the podcast, Two Blokes Talking Tech, Audio Pizza. I could go for pizza now, actually.
Yeah.
Geeks Interrupted, Aussie Mac Zone, whoever they are. Aussie Tech Heads.
Two sexy men. I can tell you that much.
Tech Webcast. Yeah, crack me up. It's not been up, but he reckons he's coming back, so keep an eye out for Tech Webcast. That's the advantage of actually just leaving them in your, leave your subscriptions in the background, even if you go, there's nothing there this week.
Yeah.
It'll actually, every now and again, they pop them in.
Yeah.
Not only this one, but some other ones, and and there's also vertical hold too. So remember,
I've done that with a lot of my podcast show. I just sort of leave them alone, and then I'll come to them and say, "Oh, do you still want to listen to this?" I'll say yes, and then they'll bring up the latest sort of things. And I did that with Chris Hardwick actually, because I sort of, got into some other stuff. I was listening to some more sciencey things, and not so much comedy and talk show. And I thought, I wanted to laugh at something, and I thought, I'll see what Chris is doing, and brought it up, and there you go. He had a really cool interview with Rob Zombie of all people. Actually, turns out he's really good friends with him, and
just like that.
Yeah, and it was a great interview, and they had so many laughs. It was fantastic, talking about his movies and his music, and
excellent.
So there is a good reason to keep him on in the background.
Yeah, AussieTechRadio.com.
Yep.
And we got any gaming, bro?
We do have some gaming this week, so I want to start about talking about Cards of Darkness, an epic card adventure.
Card of Darkness.
Cards, isn't it? Cards of Darkness?
Card of Darkness.
Card of Darkness.
Because I looked it up after you wrote cards.
I
couldn't find it. Yeah. Sorry to...
No, look, that's it. Yeah, no, that's fine. All right. So it's in the arcade. It's Card of Darkness, an epic card adventure. This game is awesome. You need to sort of choose the best way through the level by playing the cards in front of you. If you play one side to side, you have to play each card. So if you touch one, you need to finish that game. So you've got to find the direct path either out or play all cards if you like to gain more power, more money, more that sort of stuff to get out of it. It's normally so far I'm up to where you're playing 3 levels per castle with the cards and the monsters, and you've really got to think about what you're doing, really, because if you don't work out a strategy, you can run out of power, you run out of swords, you can run out of points and die really quickly and quite easily. So it really suckered me in. I loved it. I couldn't get enough of it. I played it for ages, probably way too long, to the point where Kalyan was like, "Aren't you meant to be writing reviews on this game, not playing the game?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I am, but I'm doing some extensive research." Because it was really good, and I'm keeping it. Normally, I'll play a game. If I like it, I keep it. If I don't, I delete it straight out of my arcade selection. I only have a few in that selection because I'm quite picky, because it is sort of taking up data that is important to me. So, but this one will definitely be a keeper. So I really liked the game because it was sort of old school. Going through the levels, you beat them up, you pass the next one. Even though it's not like Mario Brothers or anything like that, it sort of had that feeling. And it was great. I really liked it. And I think everyone should check it out. There's notes for this on there as well about what I said, talked about. I think I gave it... Sorry, I need to read my notes. I gave it 4 out of 5 apples. That's how much I liked it. I don't really give, sort of big high points on games a lot, because they really need to sort of grab me. And yes, but I gave this 4 out of 5 apples because I'll definitely be playing it again. Game 2 is Hogwash. It's a multiplayer...
Talk about the game. Don't just... Oh, sorry. I thought you were saying Hogwash. Sorry.
Oh, bad dad humour. Hogwash is a multiplayer barnyard bedlam. Now, though this game looks like a ton of fun, it was hard to control. I tried to play it on the phone. If I would have had maybe...
Human hands?
Yes. I tried to play it on my phone. It was hard to control. Sort of ran around everywhere, and you're trying to move the guy. So you got it, and you're trying to do this with it, and it didn't work for me. Could have, maybe it works for somebody else. I know kids now are better at this sort of stuff than I am. But I would have really liked to have had a chance to play Apple TV with it on Apple TV with a controller, because that's where my forte is. I'm a console gamer. I think it would have been excellent then. And again, it's just a little silly fun. And you can either play the pig, which is you're running around muddying up everything, and you got certain sections that you muddy up, and if you can beat the farmhand from cleaning you, and you win, or you can play as the farmhand, and vice versa. If you can clean the pig and stop them from dirtying things up, then you win. I know it sounds really simple, and it is, but it was funny, like you chase the pig around, or you run away from a farmhand, and it seemed good. So I didn't get to play it properly, and which is a shame. So I'm definitely going to revisit this one on the big screen. So I'm not going to give it a rating at the moment until I get a chance to play with a controller and with Apple TV, and then I'll get back to it and let you know what I think.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't have actually any entertainment this week, really. So now, reminder, we are brought to you by IT Help to You at ithelptoyou.com.au. So,
actually, entertainment.
Okay.
This isn't Apple related. It's actually, I watched all of The Good Place.
Oh, yeah.
On Netflix.
Yeah.
I watched the last episode last night, and I sort of went off it and was watching a lot of horror stuff and everything as I do, because I love horror. And then I came back to it because I needed a laugh, and I wanted to watch a bit of comedy, and so I went back to The Good Place thinking, oh no, I'll watch 1 or 2 episodes, it'll give me a laugh and everything. I ended up watching 2 whole seasons, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
It was so good. The ending is beautiful. It was funny, it was well written, and I think it is definitely
worth the watch.
Worth the watch. I think everybody should check it out. So
I think that's available on iView as well.
On iView, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, well. Was it iView or SBS? iView, is it? So it's on ABC.
Sure yeah.
Awesome. So there you go, guys. If you don't have Netflix, you can't afford that. It's also on iView, ABC.
I'm pretty sure it is, yeah.
Yeah, which is great.
That's where I've watched it.
Yeah, I know that Netflix and ABC actually had a deal. So they were, what is it? They were doing Monkey Magic. A reboot of Monkey Magic together.
Yeah.
And so I know they did that, and I know that, so they played a lot of the cartoons that Netflix made on ABC and stuff like that. So so there you go. So check it out, The Good Place.
Excellent.
Hey Kenny. Hey Simone.
Hey Tim and Vanessa.
Yeah. Awesome.
All right. Now, one other thing. That's just come through.
Yep.
So this is an investor update on your quarterly guidance from Apple.
Yep.
As the public health response to COVID-19 continues, our thoughts remain with the communities and individuals most deeply affected by the disease, and with those working around the clock to contain its spread and to treat the ill. Apple is more than doubling our previously announced donation to support this historic public health effort.
Excellent.
So, in the guidance, the first is that worldwide iPhone supply will temporarily be constrained, which is because there's no one at work making them.
Yeah,
so
that's fine.
Enough,
yeah.
And while our iPhone manufacturing partner sites are located outside Hubei province, and while all these have opened, they are ramping up slowly because they're also making masks as well. So, and it reminds me, I've got another story about a mask. The health and well-being is more important than anything. So the second is that demand for our products within China has been affected. All the stores in China and many of our partner stores have been closed. Additionally, stores that are open have been operating at reduced hours and with very low customer traffic. And we've seen it on TV, where there's nobody walking in the streets, nobody driving around. Outside of China, customer demand across our product and service categories has been strong. The situation is evolving, and we'll provide more information during our next earnings call. Apple is fundamentally strong.
Absolutely.
And this business is only temporary. So our first priority now and always is the health and safety of employees, supply chain partners, customers and communities.
Fantastic.
So,
well done Apple.
That's just come through recently.
Hey, Kenny, are you still making music, mate? And if you are you using Apple products? Because if you are, I'd love to talk to you about it. Maybe I could come over and chew your ear off and...
or come in, do an interview.
Yeah, come in, do an interview. I can come to you, or you can come to me, whatever. We can do it wherever you like. And do a video, film it, do an interview, and talk about your music, talk about the stuff you're using to make it. So if you are, hit me up. Just send me a personal message on Facebook or an email to Aussie Maxo. Thanks, man.
So I've personally, with the Photos app, had an issue come back.
Yep.
So I'm sure it was in the betas earlier on.
Yep.
And now I'm pretty sure it came back with the last update to 13.4. Is that right? 13.3 point whatever. Anyway, where when you take photos, they don't go into sequence. They're all likely to be, image underscore 1274, image underscore 1683, image underscore 1592, image underscore 786.
Yeah.
And that's all right when you're looking through the images because blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But when I airdrop those images from my phone to my Mac to put them in insurance reports, it means instead of doing like photographing 5 machines that are damaged and then putting that on the phone, I've got to do one at a time because they're all, when you move them across to the Apple, to the laptop, they're all out of sequence.
Yep.
So I don't know whether that insurance form's with that computer or...
Yep.
So very annoying. And it was early on and went away, but now it's come back. So if we can work out what's going on. I did send a bug report to Apple.
Yep.
But yeah, if you're experiencing that too, yeah, it's just one of those things.
Excellent. Oh, cool. Keen, that's great, man. Yeah, we would message me and we'll definitely be in touch and we'll sort something out.
Yeah.
Cool, man. Thank you.
Just like that. So now, another how-to I got sorted this week, it's taken me a while to work this one out, is, so I've got my lounge room light comes on at sunset.
Yep.
Well, so it used to come on at, like, as soon as it got to sunset, it'd come on 50%.
Yeah.
Which is a big bang when you're actually sitting there eating your dinner or something. It's boom, it's 50%. So it's a bit how you going, but it works now. So 25 minutes before sunset comes on at, I'm going to change again, but it comes on at 10%. Then 5 minutes later goes to 20%, 5 minutes later to 30%, 5 minutes later 40%, 5 minutes later to 50%, and then goes to 60%. So it just comes on jump. The early ones you can't see the jump, but the later ones you can definitely see it goes from. So what I'm thinking of doing is making it so it's only come on at 40% anyway, and just spreading, but keeping the time at, instead of going up in 10% increments, going up in say 5% increments.
Yeah. G'day Curtis. G'day Sean.
Yeah. So, but I had to make different scenes. So I made it like a 10% scene, a 20% scene, a 30% scene, a 40%, 50% scene, a 60% scene.
Yeah.
And then you introduce those. All right. So this one comes on at sunset.
Yeah. Then
it activates the next one 5 minutes later. And then that one activates the next one 5 minutes later. That one next to that. So.
By the way, he hasn't just got his lights run by this side. Almost the whole house is run like this.
But yeah, it's just getting that one light to come on slowly.
Yeah.
At sunset, like before sunset.
Yeah, cool.
Instead of about, but that's how I had to do it.
So you've got it in time increments.
Yeah.
It's slowly getting brighter.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's really cool.
It just means you've got a lot of scenes at the top of your home kit page for that room. You know, I've got sunset 10, sunset 20, sunset 30, sunset 40, sunset 50. So you've got all of those scenes at the top. But yeah, it worked. That's taken me a while to work out, so I'm very, very happy.
That's really cool.
Hi Curtis. Kenny, thank you for getting in touch that way. Now, what was another one? That's last. Come on. Here we go. Yeah, Gmail for iOS adds attachment support for Apple's File app.
Finally.
Slasky reported Google is making it easier for Apple mobile device owners to attach files to emails using their iPhone or iPad. In an announcement this week, pardon me, Google said that it added support for Apple's File app for Gmail on iOS and iPadOS. This means you'll be able to directly attach files from the app using the Gmail app. The change is rolling out now in Gmail to all Gmail users on iOS. Apple mobile device owners have a number of file apps to choose from, including the excellent Documents by Readle. Some people prefer to stick with Apple's own file app, however, perhaps in an effort for keeping everything neatly organised until now, that was a problem for Gmail users who regularly attach and set files using their phones. Now, in a blog post on Wednesday, Google announced it had started rolling out support for Apple Files app to all Gmail iOS users on February 12. It may take a couple of weeks for this feature to arrive with everyone, so remain patient if you're not seeing it in the support.
This is great. This is so good.
Now, here's an interesting thing. Just before I do this one, another coronavirus thing that came up this week is there's a company, you've seen the clear face masks that people wear? And also people are wearing...
Sorry guys, if we're glistening again like, teenage vampires, it's because it's really hot in our studio.
Yes.
I say studio, but I mean bedroom.
Now, there's a mob, because everyone's have to wear face masks. Yeah. You can't open your phone. So there's a mob that are actually printing face masks.
Oh, so that's got your face on it?
Yeah, so it's got the bit that's missing so that you can just hold up and it's got your face on it, and apparently they've got it working. So that was one of the stories I read last night.
That's fantastic.
Now, the coronavirus...
I want one and I don't even have corona. I mean, I have coronas.
Now, the coronavirus cruise... in Japan, the one that's stuck there. Yeah. So every room on the cruise for the staff and the travellers are going to get an iPhone. So it's 2,000 iPhones are being deployed to everyone stuck on board. 9 to 5 tells us, in a more curious example of how iPhone is involved with the outbreak, the Japanese Ministry of Health is set to hand out over 2,000 phones to passengers stuck on board a Princess cruise near Japan. Reported by Makatakara, Japan is giving out the phone so that there'll be 1 unit of phone per cabin for passenger and crew rooms. The reason for handing out the iPhones with SoftBank service is to give passengers access to the Japanese Ministry of Health app that will allow passengers on the cruise ship to chat with a doctor.
Fantastic.
That's great.
Yeah, that's really cool.
So far, over 100 people on the ship have been quarantined since last week and have confirmed to have the virus, and it's probably 200 people now, because I know there's The reason that passengers would need an iPhone given to them to access the health app is that many wouldn't download it from the App Store or Google Play Store because they're registered in a different country. So you can't get that Ministry of Health app unless you're a Japanese phone, of course. That makes sense. So it seems likely the passengers will have to return the phones at some point, but considering the contagious scenario involved here, who knows?
I know. Imagine if they've just got a brand new iPhone. No, that's fine, keep it.
Well, they've just been stuck in Japan, haven't they? And they're cranky with Japan for not letting them do things. But you can understand, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't let them do anything either. Like,
we didn't let the people in.
No.
And they've actually, like the Americans, they picked up, 14 people or something. Yeah. And 6 of them were found to be sick. Yeah. And then there was another one where when they were boarding the plane or something, there was another person got sick on some other. But yeah. So it's still a battle for everything. Now, malware threats on Macs outpace Windows for the first time ever.
Oh wow!
So I've heard some more background to this story since I've read this story, but we'll go start off. So Gizmodo reports it's generally accepted Macs are safer and less malware prone than Windows. Well, not anymore, and that's a bit of clickbait. A new report says that for the first time ever, Mac-specific threats outpaced PCs by the rate of 2 to 1 in 2019. The report comes from Malwarebytes, an antivirus software maker, and in its 2020 State of Malware report, the firm says it found the volume of Mac threats increased year over year by more than 400%. While it attributes some of that number to a larger Mac user database, the company calculated the number of threats per endpoint on both Mac OS and Windows. The results in 2019, the company detected an average of 11 threats per Mac endpoint compared to 5.8 threats per Windows.
That's insane. I can't believe that.
But now, as for a reason behind the drastic increase,
look at that.
Malwarebytes
Magic of television.
says it's likely due to increased market share. But so what I've actually heard, because it's to do with potentially unwanted programs, which they call pups for some reason. So, according to the
Thank
report,
you, Curtis. I am fantastic and helpful. Thank you.
Mac threats also different significant from those faced by PCs, while Windows machines are more likely to face traditional types of malware, which are, lock your machine, force you to pay money to get your machine unlocked. Mac threats are adware and the unwanted programs. Now, the latter mostly consists of cleaning apps like Mac Keeper, which is just crap, and Mac Booster. And I feel sorry for Mac Keeper because it was a real one and then it got taken over by... Anyway. On the adware side, NewTab topped the list. NewTab is an adware family that redirects browser searches to earn illicit affiliate revenue and is often spread via fake flight or package tracking, fake maps and face directions. Overall, adware and pups are considered less dangerous than traditional ware, but it says that they're...
Kenny asked, does Clean My Mac work well?
Yeah. Which one?
Clean My Mac, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yep.
Yeah.
So there you go. Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, that should be fine. But the issue also is what they're counting as malware is when you keep getting ads and ads and ads and ads and ads, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Which isn't necessarily malware, but it's just the way that it's these websites are operating now. There was 24 million detections on PCs. That's an increase of 13%, and 463% for businesses. Also, 7 out of the top 10 consumer threats was some sort of adware variant. So, yeah. So just be aware.
Yep.
Now, the main thing I can tell people is don't click on anything.
Yeah.
If it says you need to install software to see this picture, don't do it. Do another search on Google for the same picture, but find it somewhere else.
That's right. There's always Pornhub people.
It's just... it's amazing what happens. It's just...
Don't click on anything you don't know what it is. Yeah. If you don't know what it is, then don't click on it.
So, yeah, it's... The way they've reported it is it hasn't really gone up. It's just more people are aware of it, I think.
Yeah. I'm just going to... Sorry.
Yeah. So, please just be aware. Just think about what you're doing. That's that's the biggest thing I can tell people is stop and think.
Absolutely, it's really important.
Don't just keep clicking.
For the life of any of your electronic products that you're using, you really need to be careful on what you're browsing, what you're clicking, things like that, because it can happen so quickly.
Yep. Now I have had one customer. Now she got a phone call saying, "Oh, this is the NBN. We need access to your machine to make sure everything's all right." Not thinking, she goes, "Yeah, okay, blah blah blah," and then just watch the money coming out of a bank account.
Yeah.
That's how easy it is. Yeah. 10 grand later.
Yeah.
So, yes, and we need help from the government for that as well. What was that?
Someone ringing up and saying that, "Oh, you've got a bill, you need to pay it." If they won't give you their full name and who they work for, hang up.
Yeah.
Because it's a scam. Yeah.
Just when they say it's whoever it is, BHP or whatever, say, all right, I'll ring BHP back. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It's like that. People can like we talked about, spoof numbers, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, be aware. Just you have to. It's so bad these days. Just stop and think. Yeah, it just needs that bit of adware come up, take over your browser.
Yeah.
And that web page that it's not your fault. It's not the actual page fault. Well, it can be the page's fault, but yeah. So, show promotion. Don't forget we've got a link each week when you upload the show.
Yep.
The link this week being aussiemaxzone.com.au/AMZ322. Now there you'll see the last 6 weeks show notes. You can email Zarn at aussiemaxzone.com.au or Michael at aussiemaxzone.com.au. Spotify, just search for Aussie Max Zone. Google, you search for Aussie Max Zone. Apple News, you search for Aussie Max Zone.
Apple Podcasts, you search for Aussie Max Zone.
Yeah. But thanks to our sponsors this week being
Aussie
Aussie Tech Heads.
Oh, there's two, Aussie Tech Heads.
Yeah. AussieTechHeads.com. Aussie Tech
That's
Radio.
right. Thank you, Curtis. He said, if you're ever in doubt, hang up and call the company yourself.
That's right.
That's
Most important.
The best advice.
And IT help to you. Most important.
Kenny's got to go. He just won $4 million in a Nigerian lottery.
Well done, Ken. Proud of you. Don't forget us.
That's right.
And most importantly, our supporters, you, our listeners. So thank you very much.
So you guys are the best.
Over
Thank
to
you
for the sign out.
That's it. And remember, an apple a day keeps the androids away. See you later, guys. Oh, wrong hand. I'll get this camera thing right one day.